Partners, a leading early-stage venture capital firm focused on the intersection of sports, media, and technology. He supports the partners across all aspects of the investment process, including sourcing, due diligence, portfolio support, and fundraising. A former D1 basketball player and Wharton graduate, Matt brings a thoughtful, well-rounded approach to sports tech investing. Very cool. Welcome, Matt. Next on the list, we have Christian McKenzie. Give it up for Christian. Christian is the director of Lofty Ventures, a giver-centric community on a mission to connect visionary people and fuel entrepreneurship and economic development. Lofty has backed more than 170 founders, amazing, across 95 startups with a strong focus on local and underrepresented talent. 80% of those startups are based right here in the city of Chicago, and 75% are underrepresented talent. Thank you for the work that you do, Christian. Well, Christian. And finally, we are joined by Carlos Covarrubias. Carlos is Vice President at Hyde Park Ventures Partners and has been with the firm since 2021. And prior to Hyde Park Venture Partners, Carlos was an associate at Melcer Financial in the real estate team, where he focused on acquisitions and asset management. Additionally, Carlos was founder and director at Angeles Investors. Welcome, Carlos. Thank you for being here. All right, are we ready to kick things off? So please give a warm welcome to our first founder pitching, Karishma with Drink.
Good morning, everyone. Excited to be here. How are you guys all doing today? Good? Awesome. My name is Karishma, and today I want to introduce you to HOOPTEQ, the first hydration intelligence platform. I'm the CEO and founder of Drip. My co-founder is Naku Gonzalez. He is our CTO. Combined, we are STEM graduates, have 7 degrees between undergraduate and graduate institutions. We are immigrants, world citizens, and have served 30 years as athletes between soccer, tennis, and endurance running, as well as have built 4 software products and close $2 million in sales. We're on an insane mission together to build a very strong hydration nation. Here's the truth. Hydration is the backbone of human performance. Whether you are a 6-year-old growing to maintain ideal human development, whether you are a college athlete looking to run and hit that PR, shoot that basket, and have extraordinary efforts of achieving a professional career, whether you're in your corporate career looking to just maintain strong cognitive function as you're sitting there from a 9 to 5, not realizing you drank 10 cups of coffee and no glasses of water. Continuing on, when you're expecting as a mother, making sure you have enough, not just for yourself, but someone else you're able to bring into the world. And taking it full circle, when you are in your elderly stage of life, making sure you are healthy enough to make sure you can spend time with your grandchildren, with your kids, and live a life full of longevity, not just quantity. But we still have generic advice that's given in a very data-driven world. How many of you have heard the phrase, drink 8 glasses of 8 ounces of water? Fun fact, there's actually no medical or clinical evidence that backs this. Because imagine saying that to someone who's a 16-year-old, 90-pound girl, but also saying that to someone who's a 200-pound, 35-year-old man. We track sleep, glucose, HRV, you name it. But with hydration, the gap still exists. Why is it important? Dehydration impacts every aspect of your life. And as soon as you feel that fatigue, that migraine, that's your body sending you that final alarm saying you need to get up and do something about it. So I'd like to introduce HOOPTEQ. We are a personalized hydration intelligence platform that takes into account multiple biometrics are as unique as your fingerprints are. How does it work? So, not all fluids are created equally. Using our LLM, we show exactly how each ounce moves through your body. It's kind of drinking this water. Can't open it. Drinking 6 ounces of water, we bump up to your hydration score of 6 ounces, which is a hydrating fluid. Drinking tea now mimics the same method in your body, also a hydrator. If I were to crack open that bottle of wine, you would see that even just 1 ounce would be a dehydrating effect within your body. And lastly, milk is also a hydrator. So you see all these different fluids. When we think of hydration, it's not just water. Many other fluids contribute to hydrating us based on what our body needs. What does our model look like? So present day, we have a consumer app that we are distributing through multiple fitness partners, priced at just $10 a year with our current version. Beyond this, with our same fitness partners, we are working to integrate our HydroSport API, basically in real time, mimicking how activity, geography, your biometric variables are attributed to your hydration score, but the kicker, what you actually do with all that data to improve your performance, to have a better day, and to be a healthier human. This is how it will look like. Imagine being on a virtual racing platform. You see all of your variables embedded in a virtual bike or any sort of exercise fitness machine. With our integration, you're now able to see your hydration score that's directly embedded within. Market size, so very large hydration market, we're looking at about 82 billion. When we break this down, there are about 55,000 studios in the US alone with at least databases of 10,000 individuals on the lower end. Can I finish sharing? Okay. So just taking that through, our goal is to distribute through those like fitness studios, hit our users, and then also through exercise machines. We will deploy our $50,000 impact fund to perfect our LLMs and launch with our first API integration partners, and eventually launch our consumer challenge to build a hydration. It's not just general, it's generational. Thank you guys for your time.
Amazing job. And I'm downloading today, it's available. Would love to kick off see here with Q&A. And so we can start with Carlos.
Hey, nice job. Is the app live?
Yes, it is.
Do you have people using
We have released it to a certain amount of beta users, so we haven't done like a formal launch. There are about 130 people currently using it within our app user app.
it? And what does that look like? Like, are they using it every day? Like, tell us more about the usage.
Yeah, using it at least 3 times a day. We're getting just like pushback on what's happening from repetitive usage. Ideally, we want people to be logging in their hydration needs on a daily basis. But we recommended 3 times a day for at least 6 weeks to get 18 points for it to basically register for your biometrics.
Hi, I want to understand, have you done any kind of like light clinical studies to tie the hydration to like the results in the gym? Because I know people are tracking their water, but if they're moving these water levels, do they have any proof that this is affecting like their performance?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Incoming, so we've done several tests with essentially like men and women of similar biometric variables, essentially doing the same workouts, professional workouts, and gauging how their score is dependent on that. But in terms of formal clinical study, we do have it coming up shortly.
Nice job. This is kind of a basic question, but like, how do you track the hydration? Is it all manual inputs? And if so, are there ways to kind of remove that friction that you think moving forward to make it easier as well?
Yeah, 100%. So currently it is manual, so it would be kind of logging to mimic like that graph based on like any fluids. You could of course like enter everything at the end of the day instead of like in real time. But what we're seeing is like at least 18 data points, like the app store
Hey everybody, my name is Jonah Fialkow, the CEO and co-founder of Bracketology.tv, fantasy sports for reality television. There are 100 million Americans that watch reality TV, and they are actively searching for a way to more deeply engage with their favorite hobby. How do we know? Well, aside from the fact that I feel like everyone I know is talking about the current season of Long Island, USA, we have acquired 191,000 unique fantasy players since we launched in 2022, and we have not spent $1 on marketing. We also only have 2 full-time co-founders. Talk more on that in a second. And Bracketology currently offers free-to-play, season-long fantasy games. We have 4 different game types, stemming from your classic March Madness style bracket, where you're choosing who you think will get eliminated at each round all the way down to the winner, to a fantasy football style game, where you draft a team of contestants each week. Depending on what the contestants do and say during the episode, that's how your team gains or loses points. And television networks have started to take note. We've worked officially with Fox, hosting official fantasy games for 4 of their reality TV shows. We've worked with Sony to host fantasy leagues for the Jeopardy Tournament of Champions, as well as some other network partners. And those television networks have used us to more deeply engage their audiences. And as we talk about audience engagement, the adoption of fantasy games in the sports industry led to a $36 billion and growing fantasy sports market. And while fantasy reality TV is still in its very early stages, and I'm not saying that it's going to be as big as fantasy sports, there's a very clear playbook here that we're planning on following. If you look at traditional fantasy sports leagues, they went from season-long games to more of those daily fantasy pools and daily sports betting events. And we're following the same playbook. We are in the process of a product expansion to launch paid daily fantasy pools through Sweepstakes Gaming. And for those of you who might not know what Sweepstakes Gaming is, or you're not familiar with it, Sweepstakes Gaming is an unregulated gaming industry in the US and abroad. It's been around for quite some time, mostly popular with casinos, but essentially it allows companies to eliminate the element of consideration by offering 2 in-app currencies, one of which is entirely free. It has no redeemable value, it's just for social play. The other one does have redeemable value. And we'll be launching this product expansion through a dual currency model and daily prediction-based games in less than 2 months. Actually, it's today the 18th, 2 months from today. Here's the team behind the vision. You got my amazing co-founder, Caitlin. She's the other full-time co-founder. She is a digital marketing expert, an SEO whiz, has 10 years of experience in the digital marketing space, and also created our predecessor company, Batch Bracket, which was the first of its kind fantasy platform for bachelor fantasy games. Then we've got part-time co-founder David. He's also my best friend. He's our Swiss Army knife, jack of all trades. And then me. I think the word that describes our team is scrappy. On the side from running Bracketology, I work at Wrigley Field selling beer and hot dogs in the seats. I also am a content creator. Got 85,000 combined followers between TikTok and Instagram. And I make videos about anything from reality TV to slinging dogs at the ballpark. So in terms of where we're headed, we have a current bridge round that's open, and this non-dilutive TechRise prize would be instrumental in helping us start to close that bridge round and reach our next level of revenue milestones and user metrics, especially during the sweepstakes expansion. Look at what Caitlin's been able to do with $0 in marketing budget. You give her $15,000, we're going to be in a really good spot. So before I answer any questions, the only question I have for you is, wouldn't you have loved to be an early investor in fantasy sports? This is your second chance, so don't miss it.
Great job. So we'll start with Matt this time.
Yeah, awesome. What do you generally think about the difference between live sports versus, live reality shows? I feel like it's more like you're getting 10 episodes at one time versus, consuming it live on Monday night. How do you think about that side of things?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, for most of our games, we're only offering free-to-play, no wagering on, and most of it is pre-recorded. There are some live shows like America's Got Talent, The Voice, American Idol, they have all those live semifinal and knockout rounds. But the way that we structure one of our game types is relatively spoiler-proof, and in the sweepstakes industry, it's in this unregulated space. We can still offer paid contests, even for things like how many kisses will the bachelor give out, or how many times will the word connection be said. So even things that are pre-recorded, we're still going to be able to offer our game offerings. For shows that are released in bulk, that's something we're still working on, but a predominant amount of the viewership for shows like Survivor, The Bachelor, our main staple shows, those are being released weekly, and even if you're watching them a day or two late, you can still participate in our fantasy games. So it hasn't really been a huge problem to date, and we do have a couple Netflix shows on the platform that drop episodes in bulk that we're still able and have quite a number of users playing fantasy games for. Yeah.
Really great pitch. I want to hear more about the corporate partnership that you did. How are those structured? What is your strategy for getting more of those, and what percentage of the business do you anticipate that being?
Yeah, good question. So far, all of our network partnerships have been entirely cross-promotional, no monetary exchange on either end. A few of them, so for the Finding Mr. Christmas one for Hallmark, we had Mean Girls actor Jonathan Bennett DM us on Instagram 2 days before the show launched. He was like, hey, can you create a fantasy game for us? So it's been mostly like relatively social media cross-promotion. The networks themselves have promoted us on social media, through their email newsletter, and through these early stages of the partnership, we also did outreach to them. So we DM'd one of Fox's Food Club Fox channels on Instagram, which led to a meeting with their social team. They passed us along with the partnerships team, and now for network show partnerships later, we're still hosting their official fantasy game. So I think as networks continue to buy in and hear about us, it'll go both ways, and eventually we'd like to be looked at as a tech tool that they can utilize to engage their audience more deeply. Hopefully that comes with some dollar investment on their end.
Wow. Did you say the form of this was a consumer app or a web app or an app?
It's a mobile app that people can download.
So why that versus like a web app?
We also have a web application where you can play these fantasy games.
Out of curiosity, why the sweepstakes model versus like the prediction market model?
From just a legal opinion standpoint, it was going to be harder to prove the game of skill route for our current offerings because no one's really done it in the reality TV space yet. From a prediction market, we're not trying to compete with like a Kalshi or a Polymarket. It's a very different audience. We're not really competing with the daily fantasy sports platforms either. You're looking at 80% men that wager on sports. Our platform is 60% women. So we figured the sweepstakes element from both the gamification side of things and just ease into the paid market was probably our route of least friction to start. Ultimately, my goal is to get official fantasy gaming licenses down the road. Just a small, scrappy startup that didn't have the resources to do it that way yet, and this was our quickest way to prove wagering for product market fit.
What's the most popular show?
Most popular is still the Bachelor franchise, which is what we started out. We're averaging for the season-long games anywhere from 30 to 40,000 users. Survivor, we've had this past season we had 15,000 players playing.
And that's not I don't know this, I should know this. Those shows are both not batch, those are progressive.
Correct, yeah, they're like 7 p.m. on Monday nights, appointment television, ABC, yeah. Cool, thank you guys.
Next, please welcome to the stage Eric from HOOPTEQ.
Hi everybody, my name is Eric Roberson and I'm the founder of HOOPTEQ. When I was in 6th grade, I could not shoot a basketball. I practiced and I practiced, but I realized I was spending way more time chasing missed shots than actually working on my shot. One day I had this conversation with an affluent teammate of mine, and he told me about this machine that would automatically catch your missed shots and pass them back to you. That's when I realized he's able to be 6 times more effective in his training than me. And my problem was not effort, it was access access to a shooting machine. The problem is these shooting machines are extremely expensive, costing up to $5,000 to $10,000. They're super heavy, they're difficult to move, and they are not made with kids in mind. HOOPTEQ solution is the only rebounding and pass machine that is so affordable, so lightweight, so mobile, that it can actually be worn as a backpack. It's also made with kids in mind, like Nas. Nas can lift the mount up to the rim independently, hoist it using our pulley system, and from there he's able to get continuous shots, getting better, faster, anywhere he wants to train. It also has a companion app that's AI powered, AI backed, gives you shot feedback. It also allows for performance tracking, so you can track your progress with data and analytics. And there's training videos and games associated with the app. The opportunity here is huge. Basketball is the #1 popular played sports in the United States with youth, and it proposes a $5 billion opportunity for HOOPTEQ. We are well positioned at $400. Our product is 5 times less expensive than our closest competitor. At 19 pounds, our product is 5 times less heavy than our closest competitor. And so our strategy as we go to market is really to leverage content, take people behind the scenes of how a startup works and how scrappy it is, take them on that journey with us, tell stories, and we also are going to be partnering with influencers for a back to school campaign where we'll be giving away these backpacks for a backpack drive with local Chicago underfunded schools. And so as far as traction goes, we've already landed our first influencer who happens to be the #1 trainer on the internet. He has over 2 million subscribers. In addition, we've already launched our beta prototype for it and is in the hands of users and is actively being tested. Some milestones: in just 2 weeks, we're actually launching our pre-sale campaign. In 2026, we plan on fully launching the device itself as well as the companion app. And then in 2027, our goal is $8.7 million in annual revenue and to begin to expand internationally. And so the team has over 60 years of business and startup experience, engineering background, and myself as the founder, I have a master's degree from the University of Southern California in entrepreneurship, and I played college basketball, despite not being able to shoot very well. So our ask today is $15,000, and that is going to take our primarily organic and press-heavy go-to-market strategy and really just throw fire on it with a paid advertising campaign. And so with that, I want to invite you to invest in making elite basketball training accessible for everybody. Thank you.
Great job, Eric. We'll start with Christian, ladies first this round.
Yeah, I wanted to hear more about the beta test. I know you haven't been looking through the slides, but I want to know how many people were in that beta test, what feedback have you gotten so far that you can possibly implement in the future version of it?
Sure, great question. So to come up with this product, first we interviewed and talked with over 330 basketball players, from youth players all the way up to the parents of youth players and even some professional NBA players as well. With the beta test specifically, we were able to get the product in the hands of 5 users who have just been testing it out, its functionality. And some of the main feedback I've gotten is that they love how the ball delivers them in-game like passes, where currently what's on the market for this price point is those machines that just use gravity just to kind of roll the ball back to you. And those just aren't acceptable if you're training at even an 8th grade level, right? And so they love that aspect. And one area that we will be improving on as we go to launch, actually deliver the actual product in 2026, will be the mounting system, where we make that even more efficient and even easier for younger students to be able to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if it worked. Like, is it turned? Does it actually deliver you the ball? Is it, do people like it?
Yeah. So the beta product that we have, the beta prototype, it works great. We just shot a commercial with it last week. and you'll be able to kind of see it in action very soon as part of our go-to-market campaign and the pre-sale. The current beta does not rotate. The final version will rotate to all different spots on the floor, and we're even working on a version where it will be able to track the location on the floor, automatically turn there, and deliver the basketball to you.
And then the only other thing was, how did you think of the price point?
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with our cost of goods. And so we were shooting for about a 60% margin. And so it cost us like $160 or so to make. And that's where we landed. In addition, I know that parents on average spend $1,000 a year on their students, or on their kids for basketball training specifically. And so with our competitors being at the $2,000 mark, we're really truly the only consumer option on the market underneath that $1,000 threshold. And so we figured we wouldn't want to spend the entire basketball budget on a shooting device like this, but $4,400 is sufficient. And the 330 people that we surveyed and interviewed, they were coming in very consistently at $200, which would be unrealistic with our cost of goods, to about $500. So we went in at $400.
I guess more on the product side, like how long does it take to set up when you're going to hoop? And is this something where you can just like leave it on your basketball hoop at home for days at a time, or is it something where you're having to put it up and take it down each day?
Yeah, great question. So we're targeting under 2 minutes. Right now, I've been able to do that in about 2 minutes with our beta prototype. So assuming we can keep that consistent through product development, that's the goal. Our competitors are between like about 90 seconds and 3 minutes. So we're right in that sweet spot in competitors then. And yes, it is durable in the sense that you could just leave it on the rim, forget about it, get your shots up. The battery itself, which is actually a huge differentiator from ourselves and the competitor that even has a battery. Other mobile options claim to be mobile, but you have to buy a generator that weighs literally the same amount as our whole product, just the generator. But to answer your question, yeah, you could swap the battery, so you can just leave it there and have it live there. Think like a Ryobi type battery where you can just swap out. Or if like you're like my cousin Nas, who I demonstrated here, or myself growing up, I rode my bike every single day to the park to play. And so this is something I can easily throw in my bag. My cousin can do the same, bring it with him. There's also a pulling carrier, so if the 19 pounds is too much for a young kid or they're on the smaller side, they can always just pull it in a suitcase behind them where they need to go and set it up mounted. Again, 100% independent.
Yeah, nice.
I got the time, so.
Next up, let's welcome Heather Melcer with your Sports BFF.
Hello, everyone. Great, welcome to your Sports BFF. Did you know 72% of women now consider themselves sports fans? That's nearly 190 million in the US and Canada alone. And get this, half just started watching within the last 5 years. Even with all of this growth, women still feel like outsiders in a sports world that was never built with them in mind. Today's sports app feel like boys club designed for this guy. The content is packed with stats and delivered in long recaps that assume she already has an expert level of knowledge. But her fandom looks different. She wants storytelling and context, not just the numbers. So why are we still expecting her to use sports apps that were built for a completely different fan base? Hi, I'm Heather, the founder of your Sports BFF. I love sports, but even as a lifelong fan, I still cringe every time I open a sports app. They're clunky, overwhelming, and just clearly not built with me in mind. Professionally, I've helped over 50 of the top direct-to-consumer brands grow through performance marketing. Now, I'm bringing that expertise to a space I care deeply about and building a sports app I always wish I had. Your Sports BFF is the first sports app designed for her. Let me show you what it looks like. It starts with a social style newsfeed, as fun and addicting as your favorite social app. The algorithm adapts to her interests and fan level and surfaces content around sports news, culture, education, and more. With custom lineups, she can easily create filters for what matters most. Think Chicago team news or WNBA drama. And we know she still cares about the game, just not in the way that traditional apps do. So instead of a wall of stats, the game view delivers quick recaps, key moments, and player spotlights. She can follow along confidently and sound smart talking about it later. And if she is ever confused, the BFF chat is our game-aware AI assistant that acts like a best friend that knows sports. She can ask real-time questions like, why was that a flag? And never feel left out again. Our primary revenue driver is advertising. The US sports ad market tops $20 billion annually. Approximately 15% of that is spent reaching female fans, and another 60% goes directly to digital platforms. That puts our addressable market around $1.8 billion. Our 3-year goal is simple, just 0.05% of that market, or $1 million in ad revenue. Now here's our edge. We're building the go-to destination for high-intent female fans, a group brands are already racing to reach and are struggling to effectively target. With advertising as our main revenue driver, we understand that user acquisition becomes everything. Pre-launch, our goal is simple, grow through organic. Our goal is simple, 50,000 followers and 5,000 person wait list. We'll accelerate that growth by hosting local events and teaming up with women's sports teams to build early traction. Once live, we'll tap into major sports moments and begin testing through paid channels. Now, some brands are starting to build content for her, but none are thinking about rebuilding the experience from the ground up. We are. We're not just changing the tone or adding pink to a stat-heavy feed. We're rebuilding the product, the content, and connecting the community. Now, we have the vision, we have the plan, we just need the investment to bring this all to life. The 50,000 prize will jumpstart our pre-seed raise and help us move fast on what matters most. Building our MVP, growing the key team, and executing that go-to-market strategy. Sports have the power to change the world. They build confidence, purpose, and belonging. But until now, half of the population has not had a way in or a place to call home. When we build for her, the ripple effect is massive. It's more girls playing, more women leading. It's how we level the playing field. Help us make sure women have a seat at the table for good.
Great pitch. Let's start with Carlos.
Nice job. Do you know, I don't know this is like a tech question. Wait, what percent of current sports gamblers are women?
I think it's 40.
40?
Yeah, it's way higher than you'd expect it.
And then,
And it's a massive market, which we hope to tap into eventually.
what, is there a difference in the most sports followed by gender? Like, I'm assuming the most.
Women, female fans, so this is an app for female fans of all sports, not women's sports fans. Clarifying that.
Right.
We, as females, do over-index on women's sports in comparison to men. But from like a soccer, basketball, I don't have those numbers.
Got it. And then the last question, actually I'll pass it to that.
Yeah, my question was more so about like the research you've done to date, like, you know, I know you're pseudo launch, but like how have the customer interviews gone? Like where's the product now?
We just completed a survey, a small survey to start, of 50 women who are casual fans. Almost 90% said that they would use a app built specifically for them. And so that's where we're starting to test. We also have what I would call a light prototype of our BFF chat. It's really just a custom GPT speed and the tone. It's not the game-aware assistant that we'd like to build. And got really good initial feedback from friends and family mostly on that.
Awesome.
Thanks. I think what you're building is definitely on par with what I've seen in the market, just like the focus on attracting the woman fan, just how much they like sports. I've seen a few betting things, but specifically want to ask you about the post. I think is a big one that kind of attracts or targets the women demographic around sports, and how you think about competitors moving forward and differentiating your position around that, because I believe there will be competitors in the next 2 years.
Absolutely. most of what I'm seeing is more on the media side. So it's creating content for the female fan, or really specifically creating content for the female fan who loves women's sports. So we're really trying to break away from that. A lot of investment has gone into women's sports specifically, and there's this huge growth in the female fan base that doesn't know where to turn for their news, their education, how do I learn what the strategy is, what the rules are, things like that. And so I think we're really trying to lean on this casual fan, that new 50% of that 72%, and build content to essentially grow that fandom, and hopefully over time build those additional product features that keep her in that for good.
Thanks.
Great job. Last but not least, this is tough. These are great pitches. We will welcome to the stage Laren of HOOPTEQ.
Hello.
Oh, there's a couple extras, sorry.
1996, DVDs, Palm Pilots for the future. Before the first social media company hadn't started yet, and Amazon sold just one product. It was also the year that affiliate marketing was introduced, allowing websites to earn commissions by sending traffic to e-commerce sites. 30 years later, social media is a thing, and it's everywhere. It drives the majority of commerce for most Americans. The problem is, we're stuck in 1996, meaning that creators earn just 1% of the commissions from driving traffic to these sites. This is also the same chance as a startup has to get a funding application from a VC. Just saying. We advertise for our customers. My name is Larry Davis. I'm the founder of HOOPTEQ. We're coordinating commerce with culture. You gotta coordinate. So, stuck in 1996, creators build products, build a manual link for each single product, and then stuff all of those products links onto a piece of content. What we do is automate this entire process. Our platform scans a piece of content to identify every product in that content, and then curate each item in one single universal link. As you can see, Angela, one of our beta users, has her pilot link in her profile. When an audience member clicks on that link, it takes them immediately to all the products that they discovered from across different shops, allowing them to select the products that they want and check out in one seamless process. We take a percentage of the commission for revenue share, a small transaction fee, and maybe in the future, a subscription fee. We currently have 10 beta users, of which we've onboarded about 1.5. We'll be able to get to the rest of those faster with the prize money. And we have 200 creators on the wait list. As I mentioned, the use of the prize funds would be to onboard the rest of our beta users to begin to pull people off of the wait list. HOOPTEQ is a creator-first platform. All of the other players are on the wrong side of 1996, adding steps for both creators and their audiences to make a purchase. My name is Larry Davis. I'm from the south side of Chicago. I was born and raised in Inglewood. I'm a two-time founder. My first business I built in West Africa and scaled it to over 1 million users. Before that, here in the States, I worked at Google, developing the operations and strategy in their effort to digitize the world's books. And before that, I was the lead engineer at Oscar Mayer, responsible for most of the domestic lunch meat output. So if you have bologna, you're welcome. Or sorry, depending on where you land. As I mentioned, you guys can support. We have Angela, we just have her settled on the platform. She is an Emmy-winning celebrity hairstylist. Does anybody have a daughter or know a girl in between the ages of 28 and just 1, 2? Okay, by the book. Does anybody know anyone who's ever done this? All right, buy some Angela products. Thank you.
We'll start with Matt. Great job.
Yeah, nice work. For the influencer side, are you, I guess my first question is like, what type of influencers are you targeting? And then on that note, like, are you going to expand to potentially brands or other different avenues to kind of sell this product? And what's the product roadmap and vision?
So I'll answer the second question first. Like, yes, we plan to expand to brands, creators. So the answer is yes. And in terms of like the roadmap, this is just kind of like a breakdown of the different types of creators. So right now we're focusing on our first 10 wave users, and then we'll spread to the waveless users. And then you have about 3,000 creators that are already kind of familiar with affiliate marketing. We call those maybe the intermediate ones. And then we'll expand into them. And from there, we'll go into the beginning affiliate marketers, of which you have about 1.4 million creators. And then 8 million creators haven't even, tried affiliate marketing. So that's kind of the roadmap. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
He got to my question, but I would love to hear more about why you try to solve this problem right now. I just want to.
Right now? So, let's see. Well, one, it hasn't been solved, and I feel like there are a number of different things happening. One, in terms of a technology, shift. There's technology available that kind of makes this problem a bit easier, but the problem hasn't been touched in 30 years, right? The problem was there even before social media was created. You also have creators. King. Content is king. And so they have a growing influence not only on marketing and sales, but even in distribution channels. But they're often left with just crumbs in terms of money. So there's a building frustration. Every time a creator gets an ad deal, it affects their authenticity, which is their lifeblood, right? So that's also an issue. And then also consumers, about 80% of consumers want press commerce journey, right, in order to make a purchase. So you have consumers, you have the tailwinds of the technology, you have the creators who need it, and so that's what we decided to solve.
Why do you think this is good for the end consumer? Like, it's pretty easy to understand why the creator and that's easy to buy into. I think it's a little harder to see, like, as a consumer, why is this a better experience for me?
Well, because it's just one click for a universal checkout, so I think it reflects more on how people, shop. And I think even if you look at the standard e-commerce journey today, right, it's like if you start that journey, you have a 2% chance of making it to the end. And it just doesn't sound like a good, metric, right? Like if you start something has a 2% success rate, it probably needs to be changed. And so we just press it so that you don't have as many steps where people are falling off. Does that answer your question? After sorting? Sorry. No, answer it.
So I think I think there's sort of a mismention, like today, so I have bought stuff from insert athlete, but it's like, hey, I'm shopping for shoes, and I see that Kevin Durant has the shoes, and like, cool, there's that coincidence of like, he's advertising what I want, whereas I'm not gonna go on Kevin Durant page and search for like, the insert work product I need, because Kevin Durant probably doesn't have, or he's not gonna be an influencer for like, a work laptop bag or something, stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a weirder, like, it's not really that bi-directional. That's in my opinion, but.
So I think it's actually two things. one thing is the journey being too long. And then if you look at most content creators' pages, you'll always see a comment like, oh, where can I get that from? Where do you get that? So they're asking and they're seeking, and they'll go and find it. It's just that they'll find it on another channel outside of the creator, and they won't get commission for the sale that they kind of like drove. So, yeah, so it just helps people find actually what they're looking for.
Amazing job to all of our founders. Thank you. And thank you to our judges. They have the difficult job to go on this beautiful rooftop stage. So now we have a winner. We have Matt to announce the winner. Woo! And I would ask all of our founders who have presented today, please stand up, and I'll pass it over to Matt.
Thank you. Great talk. We really appreciate all the time y'all spent giving your speeches and getting your pitches. I thought all of them were amazing. I think all of them have a chance to be super successful into the future. But the winner today is bracketology.
Hear a couple of words from you. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, super exciting. My first pitch event, it was awesome, had a great time. I'm glad you guys see the vision. We're also pretty bullish on it. And I'm just excited to tell my co-founder, Caitlin, that she has a $15,000 marketing budget now. So she will be very excited. But we're very passionate about building bracketology as a Chicago company. It's in my roots. And ultimately, fantasy sports for reality TV. We're going to be the ESPN, but for reality TV, the worldwide leader in reality television. And if you see me at Wrigley Field, come buy a hot dog. I'm not sure if they're tonight, but tomorrow.
Congratulations, Jonah, and congratulations to all of our founders that presented today. And again, thank you to 1871. We truly appreciate your partnership here. Again, to Augie, Story, amazing speaker, Claude, Lucy, Alonzo. Just want to make sure the judges as well. We will be hosting Capital Summit this year, July 22nd. But Tech Chicago Week is July 21st through the 27th. So we have Aspen Ideas Climate, we have Capital Summit focusing on our founders and investors, a day chock full of amazing content, so please go and register today. And then we have the Global Quantum Forum, a day and a half. And then we also have another TechRise competition happening right on the south side of Chicago, brought to you by Exchange, which is an onshoring opportunity to bring IT jobs back to Chicago, but to Chicago's south side and west side communities. So woo-hoo for that. Can I drop the bomb now? We will have a special guest. So I would say these are free tickets for the TechRise competition. Formidable that you will know, you all know and love. And I just ask that you get your tickets before they sell out. Okay? You came in person today, so you got the drop before everyone else. But again, thank you, 1871. Congratulations again for bracketology, and thank you for joining us today.